have been giving us, after Christopher Nolan walked away from the whole Batman franchise, we have been given scraps. And even, I'm not saying that the DC movies are completely trash. They're well entertaining, but they are not this continuous masterpiece that Marvel created. Because Marvel, what they did in the first couple of movies was to create this sensation that is the same that animes like Dragon Ball Z used to do with the continuation effect. It's like they keep you episode after episode on a cliffhanger. The thing with the MCU is that its most successful part, which is the film part, because let's be honest, DC almost nailed it on the whole DC Legends stuff, but they have solid TV series. For example, Arrow, Supergirl, Smallville, for example, Gotham, which is recently wrapped up. You have all of these great examples. So where one of them thrives, the other one has failed. And the thing with the MCU is that the introduction of Captain Marvel was a little bit shove it up your face. There was the huge work that is put always by the Russo brothers, but in a way, when I saw Avengers Endgame, Brie Larson casting started to make a lot more sense than in her own standalone movie, but it started to make a lot of sense, and I think she has a really great break playing Captain Marvel this point forward. So there have been you see me stuttering there a little because this is the part where I have to be really careful to not get in spoiler zone. So let's go back to the whole Disney Plus thing. Though, even I know if you didn't notice that a lot of series, the good series, that Marvel had good series. The thing is that they canceled them. And one example of them was Jessica Jones had a cult following. They had Luke Cage, the Iron Fist, that never quite got off the ground. And you have Daredevil, which is a masterpiece of how a series could be done. If, let's say, for example, Daredevil is it could be a great blueprint for finally a live-action Batman series that goes into that kind of area. Gotham proved that working with many villains can work in a sort of a way. So the thing is with the MCU is that they're not planning. For example, when they had the series on Netflix, like Daredevil, they started with Daredevil and they started tying in these other characters. The thing is that there's 3 huge rumors about 3 potential series on the MCU, one of them being of Loki, which I'm sorry to say this, but we're getting into the prequel territory after such a huge event. The thing with the MCU, unlike Game of Thrones, is that Game of Thrones throughout the whole series has established a starting and an ending point to that specific story. The thing is that the MCU, it's alive. It is like it's like playing games online. It is alive. And going into the prequel territory is not as comfortable for the MCU as it is comfortable for Game of Thrones, for GOT. Because in the case of GOT, they can do that. They can go back, they can go forward, and they could go 100 years, not make some alien crossover. That will be when the series maybe jumping the shark or getting too old. But they can move to another series to fix what's wrong with the other one. It's not that they have a whole lot of pacing to do that. They have to make a moderate, successful first season. And they cannot compare it to the last seasons because we are seeing the whole build up and the budget. A project of that size of a budget from the beginning is not that easy, but I trust that the that the executive producers of Game of Thrones, they have a good game plan of what it is to come, and they can make a prequel and make that prequel series last, let's say, like for 5 seasons, and they go to what it's going on after the events of the original series. It is actually, in the case of Game of Thrones, the series is being called, previously it's rumored called The Long Night, which will take part in an event that is mostly pointed in the books that happens in the first encounter, the first big war between the White Walkers and the humans. So it promises to be a really interesting episode, interesting series, and that's the good part that Game of Thrones have. The thing with the MCU is that it has a lot of weight on its shoulders. They have a lot of things that they have to do, and the remainder cast, they will have to level up, because the remainder, and I say because you have heard a couple of spoilers, and we're entering a phase 4 with a lot of new stuff, and besides of that, we're entering a phase 4 of Marvel. We don't know if it will be first with Black Panther or Doctor Strange. They're the main runner-ups, or even Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but I don't think that one will be happening, because Guardians of the Galaxy 3, they recently rehired James Gunn, so they will be starting shooting 2020. So we will see how the actual events add up, or they will go back in time, they will go something like that, but we will have to watch for that one. The thing is that the MCU is getting 3 series,